Hello, it's Lucas.
It's Corey.
Welcome to another edition of the Count Out, where today we're going to be talking about TNA Slammiversary. We just got done watching it. We ordered it. Yes, we actually ordered it, unlike you illegals streaming it on the computer.
First off, we always order it.
Yeah.
Why would we ever not order it?
Exactly. But I'll start by saying it was a really good show. It was really good.
It was a good show.
Really good. The crowd, I don't think it was as good as the last time they went there, like the crowd size, but the crowd, it was still pretty big.
Well, they were a good crowd. They were
Definitely
a
a good
great crowd. Compared to what TNA has had recently, they were a great
They were
crowd.
happy to be there. They were into the matches, and TNA gave them great matches to thank them. Well, let's start off. To begin with, Sonata defeated Manic, Tigre Uno, Crazy Steve, Eddie Edwards, and Davey Richards in a six-way ladder match to retain his X Division title. This match...
Gonna be 100% honest, did not expect Crazy Steve to get as much love as he did.
I know, everyone was going crazy for this guy. Everyone was going crazy for Crazy Steve. And I don't know if this guy's like indie. I really don't know the backstory. I thought he was just someone TNA created, but maybe he has like a history or something of being Crazy Steve.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, but it was...
He just caught on, and that's
Yeah.
good, though. It helps the menagerie.
Menagerie. This match, it was a little short. I wish it was a little longer. It was 9 minutes and 45 seconds according to the timers we have going here. But Sonata won, which I'm happy with. Sonata was the only one that I feel truly deserved and earned it at that point. And I feel like he's the one that has the best chance of winning the title. At Destination X, he won't win it. But he still is the one that he looks the strongest going in.
No, you're right. I understand. Luke's gonna explain, because he's like, his whole point of coming to America is to become the world champion. Obviously, he fails and then goes back
To
Japan, because that's the whole point. Is he was only here for so much longer.
Yeah,
so it's a good way to write him off.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, it puts him over. He looks like a big guy, going for the world title at the end. And yeah, definitely, this was a good match. I wouldn't say it was amazing. I think it could have been better. It could have been longer.
There's some things that I got problems with this match. Now, granted, I love this match. I think it was a great match. I think it was a great opener for the pay-per-view. It really started off. But the problem is TNA let's focus on other matches. When their X Division was the big thing. When they first started TNA, Jerry Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett's father, was like, I want X Division to be bigger than the World Heavyweight Championship. And it has fallen to the wayside. And I think these guys are so talented and so good that if they were given an extra 10, 15 minutes, they could have had the greatest match of the year. And another thing that really upset, it doesn't really upset me, no. It makes it not as great as a match in my eyes. My opinion.
Okay.
Is whenever they have ladder matches, they never feel like they're real ladder matches. Now, granted, they did use a lot more stuff with the ladder, but if I feel like they don't have enough spots with the ladder that I really want.
One spot that completely stole the show was when Tigre Uno, I believe he was not Tigre Uno, Manic. No, it was Manic. It was Manic.
It was Tigre Uno.
It was Manic.
No.
It was Manic. It says it right here. It's Manic.
Wait, you're talking about that set up the ladder spot?
No, with the...
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant set it up.
No, okay, well, Tigre Uno set up the ladder, so, the ladder is, set up in the middle of the ring, and then there's a ladder, wedged in between that and the rope.
It's like a bridge.
Like a bridge. So, Manic was climbing up one side. Let's say his back was to the camera, and then Eddie Edwards was in front of him. And then Manic took him, did a sunset flip powerbomb, and smacked him right on the ladder. It was insane.
And his head flung into the ladder, and he just stood there the whole match.
Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, he just
that alone made the match. And there was a couple other cool spots. This match did need more time. After that, Sonata just kind of climbed up and got the title, so it kind of ended
They had a crazy suplex to the outside where you suplexed him, but somehow he flung out as well.
Yeah,
it looked ridiculously awesome.
Yeah, that was who did that? I don't even know who did that. I believe that was...
It was Davey Richards.
Davey Richards and Sonata, right? No, it was Davey Richards, and then Eddie Edwards was the one who got the flip on him. It was a good match. Definitely a good match. Great opener.
But like I said, I just want more ladder spot. You know what I mean? I compare it to WWE ladder.
No, I think there should have been more spots, but for just being thrown on the card, given 10 minutes, they did really well. Crowd was into it. Some really good spots.
Very much into it.
We always compare this to Bound for Glory. When we saw Bound for Glory and watched that Ultimate X match, we were both like, "Oh God, what did we get ourselves into? This could be really bad." And thankfully, the pay-per-view did get better. But this started off the pay-per-view just right. I'm like, "All right, here we go. I'm ready for Slammiversary. They're here. TNA's ready to give us a great pay-per-view." But yeah, definitely a great match. Next up, we had MVP Bobby Lashley and Kenny King walk out. MVP explained the situation. He's like, "All right, here, dogs. Here's what's going on, guys." And it was just kind of there to explain.
But we already knew what was going on.
But I think the live crowd maybe didn't exactly know.
That's
so
true,
I guess I can give it some leeway. It wasn't a huge deal. I do agree that kind of dragged down a little bit, but it's fine. So we had Bobby Lashley versus Samoa Joe. Bobby Lashley beat Samoa Joe. It was a good match.
I thought it was a good match as well. I thought
lot of
they did
people-
a good powerhouse match.
Yeah, good powerhouse match. I'm not a huge fan of that style. There were some cool moments here and there. I do think it was good that Lashley won. A lot of people will disagree with me, but I feel
I think Joe is just...
he's a lost cause.
Yeah, he's a lost cause.
And I think he's given up too. And he's given up too.
Well, obviously you could tell. I mean, Joe was never in great
he was
physique, but he was good enough that didn't. He just looks like he's gained a lot of
I'd
weight.
I'd say in his early runs, like in 2005 to maybe like I don't. When did we stop watching? Like 2008. Like he looked good. Like he was a little big, but that was just his character because he was Samoan. I mean, it's fine. That was the Samoan Joe with his little chub. But yeah, but I mean, it wasn't ever bad. I mean, he looked a little bigger, but he was really fast. Now he just looks kind of bigger. I think he lost a little bit of weight though. He looked a little skinnier.
Yeah, no, he's just...
So maybe that Jenny Craig is paying off for him. But this was a good match. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say about it, but it just kept the momentum from the first match. It was good. Crowd was behind Joe. They're obviously a little disappointed when he lost, but it was a good match.
Well, you had to have one of the guys win.
Yeah, you had to one of MVP's guys. But I mean, is there really anything else we could say about this match? Or
I
no?
don't think so. No.
No, it was a good match. All right, next up we had Willow with Abyss versus Magnus with Bram, or Brahm, as I like to say. I don't know why. But Magnus beat Willow in a very good match. I was shocked at how good this match was. I knew Magnus and Jeff Hardy had great matches in the past, but I didn't think they were going to bring it this much. This is a really entertaining and fun match.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was anything spectacular.
I really liked it. There were some really cool moments, like when Willow, he was on the top rope and he just kind of fell back.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was weird, but it looked cool.
Weird.
It was cool. It was cool.
No, it was cool. It was weird.
It was
like,
a fast...
Do you guys trust me?
Yeah, it was a fast match, fast paced, very fun. The crowd was into it. It was really cool. And it was like an Abyss and Brand, they brought enough to the table to justify why they were there, but they didn't totally distract from them.
No, you're right. They did.
And the storyline can continue to go from here. Hopefully Magnus doesn't lose to Will like next week or something, because Magnus needed that win to start getting up to where he was before.
I think such a terrible run as a champion.
I think what they're trying to do is they're starting to build up Magnus again. That's why I think it's great that they're pairing him with Bram, because now they're trying to build up both these guys and be like, all right, we screwed up with him. Let's just build him up.
Now
again.
either they can go tag team route,
become
tag team champions, or they can bring.
I wouldn't mind that though.
Magnus back to become a world champion again.
I wouldn't mind them being tag team.
Where champions. A lot of people, where. Mm-hmm. Some people think he belongs.
Yeah, but I think he's still a world champion contender. But I think give him a little time away, him and Brand win the tag team titles, that'd be good. But this is a really exciting. This is not exciting, but a really good match. I'd say really good. Then we had Kurt Angle come out for the TNA Hall of Fame, and Corey and I were talking like who could be inducted for this. We're thinking like AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett. That'd be too awkward. They were thinking like maybe
awkward.
Maybe like at this point it would be like we were thinking maybe Raven, Jerry Lynn. Who else were we thinking? Maybe Jeremy Borash. Ken Shamrock, because he was the first champion. But then they announced this Team 3D, Boy Ray and Devon. And one thing Corey and I were talking about, mostly Corey, was that he didn't like how Kurt Angle and Sting were inducted to the Hall of Fame when they were still members of like the TNA roster, still active wrestlers. And here it works out better because Devon's retired, Boy Ray's still wrestling, but you're inducting them as a team.
Well, that's what I said in our WWE Hall of Fame video. I always hate the fact, because I feel like the Hall of Fame shouldn't be these guys are still wrestling, all stuff. It should be after retired, maybe after 5 years or so they've been retired, that they get brought into the Hall of Fame and get inducted. I think it gives it the best. I hate seeing like Jerry the King Law and we're like, oh, you're a Hall of Famer, and he's still doing the announcing thing, like it annoys me. But I understand though that WWE or TNA has their issues with the wrestlers and they may not make it up. You know what I mean? Where it may take a lot longer than ever get in. Just look at Bruno Sammartino. You know what I mean? He never. Yeah. It took him forever to get inducted, or Ultimate Warrior, because they were such a bad heat. With Jeff Jarrett, they're never going to induct Jeff Jarrett, obviously.
They might, though. You never know. Never say never.
No, you're right. But, most
You
likely...
never thought Ultimate Warrior would get inducted. He got inducted. Never thought Bruno Sammartino would. He got inducted. So, you can never say never. And I think eventually they may...
But I think
eventually AJ Styles and Jeff Jarrett will get inducted. Definitely AJ Styles. More so than Jeff Jarrett, but AJ will definitely get inducted.
But I do like that... See, I wish AJ Styles was...
Can I say one thing, though? AJ Styles will come back to TNA. This isn't the last we've seen of AJ. He's going to come back eventually. He will. He's going to finish his career in TNA.
Well, we'll see.
I think so. But, yeah.
But Team 3 I did like, because like Lucas was saying for me, that there's a team that retired, so it worked more.
And plus, they earned it. They definitely earned it.
No, they did a great with TNA.
And also, it's not just for their accomplishments in TNA; it's their accomplishments in WWE and ECW.
We don't care about the accomplishments.
No, but it does, because they talk about the whole spectrum. They're inducting them, and they're saying the whole spectrum of what they've accomplished, and they've accomplished so much.
Well, it's not a wrestling Hall of Fame; it's a TNA Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. But
didn't we talk about starting our wrestling Hall of Fame? We should do that one day. Yes. Start subscribing, start liking us. We can make our own wrestling Hall of Fame.
Well, so many people already do that though. So
that's true.
I don't know. Maybe we can make like a
wink, wink. Austin Aries versus Kenny King.
Corey, that was oh my god. So this is probably this match was awesome. Austin Aries versus Kenny King was an awesome match. They even brought up like the little feud they had back before Bound for Glory, which was good for continuity. But this was a really good match. It was really fast paced, really fun.
Yeah, it was funny because when we first started the match, I was like, "Wow, look at that! Austin Aries and Kenny are finally finished their rivaling back from the day."
And
then they brought it up.
Yeah. So this was it was a really good match. I mean, just a lot of really cool
good spots. Great finish with the
brainbuster off the top rope.
I know. At first, I thought when they were so say brainbuster, I thought I missed it. I looked away for a second, whatever, missed it. I thought it just kind of was mainly suplex, but when you watch replay, it really did look like a legit brainbuster from the top rope. Made it look so much better. And they did a great job selling the move.
It was just a great match.
Austin Aries is a great talent though,
and Kenny King is too. They worked a great match. I mean, a lot of people. I guess the one problem with this pay-per-view, I think, was a lot of the matches they booked too much. They had 9 matches. I think that was just too much. I don't know what they could cut though, because all these matches I was kind of excited for. I'm like, oh, all these matches.
James Storm and Miss Anderson.
I was so excited for that one though. I mean, yeah, I guess. Well, we'll get into that a little later, but 10 minutes for this match. So I mean, I think it could have maybe used a little bit more time, but they told a really good story, and I didn't feel like, wow, if only this had more time, like with the ladder match. Like this was a really good match, and it gave enough time to tell a really good story, and it was really, really good. All right, next up, Marshall and Ross Von Erich versus Jesse Goddard and DJ Zema Ion. Robbie wasn't there because I guess he's filming the Amazing Race.
Yeah.
Great.
This was the reason why TNA had such a big attendance as well.
Well, I wouldn't say not the only reason, but yeah, helped with it. It was awesome. The match itself, I mean, I'm not a wrestling guy. I don't know what exactly the best technical wrestling is. I don't think Marshall and Ross are there yet. I still think they have a little work to do because they're still pretty new. Yeah, they're still really
20
young.
years old, 21.
But I mean, they still wrestled really well, and it was an entertaining match. It was like a 5-minute match. It was it was fun. The crowd was really into it.
Von Erich's such a huge
name,
and
I mean, and the bromance. I mean, they did their part too. They didn't suck either. I mean, they were both good. And it's funny when you consider that Jesse Goddard has seniority over these two Von Erich kids. That's what's funny to me. That Jesse Goddard is the ring general with them, because he has more experience than them.
Well, yeah.
So that's kind of funny because most people would say that Jesse Goddard is horrible. I think Jesse Goddard has gotten so much better.
What about Zema Ion though? He's
really good too, but that goes without question. He's a really good wrestler. Yeah. But I mean, Jesse, it's funny because I was reading an article about Kazarian and Daniels. They're saying, "Oh, we're better than the bromance," but they even said
"Oh yeah, I read that."
They said even Jesse Goddard he's worked so hard and he's gotten to that point, and he's working for it. He's not just because I know he's been on some TV shows and people were probably "Oh, he's just going there and just wrestling, doesn't really care," but he's really working hard apparently to get better. So that's great. Definitely great. And who knows, maybe, in a couple of years, we'll see him as a main event talent.
That's true. Maybe.
But this was a really great match. The best part, though, was when, the Von Erichs had the match won, but Jesse came in and hit him with the chair to get the DQ, and then Kevin just ran in and just started just beating up the bromance. He did his whole little iron claw on them, and the crowd was just going nuts. He raised his kid's hands. Great Father's Day, a little present for us. We were watching with our dad as well, and he really enjoyed the show, too.
Well, because he knows the Von Erichs from when he was younger watching wrestling. So,
wrestling.
Like you said, they're a big name.
Yeah, and the crowd, and it wasn't about the match quality as much as just seeing the Von Erichs, and the crowd loved it, and everybody was super excited to see it. And I was really happy too. I thought it was awesome. Next up was Angelina Love versus Gal Kim for the TNA Knockouts title. An okay match. There was some.
I thought it was a good match.
There was some. Yeah, no, it was a good.
I
match.
love Gail Kim, a great wrestler.
There were some good moments early on, but
some
then
good reversals.
Yeah, those reversals.
No, they
man.
were. They were.
Whenever I think of wrestling, I'm like those reversals. When I think of knockouts, I'm like knockouts. TNA, those reversals they have, man. Ooh, gets me going every time. But the finish was the weirdest thing.
No, it wasn't.
It was
Stifler went full heel. He made his heel turn.
I know, and I didn't realize that. Apparently, this has been going on for weeks where he's been favoring them. I didn't even notice.
No, neither did I.
I didn't notice, but I guess what happened was that he okay. So what happened is in the middle of the match, Velvet came on the ropes the apron and like sprayed Gal with the hairspray, and Stifler was like, "Oh, come on, hey, what
are you doing? Like, come on."
And he didn't really care. Then Earl Hebner came out and he's like, "Hey, Stifler, get out of here! I'm the referee now." And then like Gail Kim like accidentally hit Earl, but then she kept on pinning Angelina and having her pinned. But then
Stifler at first was like paying attention to
Earl.
So he thought, oh, maybe he just doesn't see them. And then she's like, "Hey, look at me! I'm gonna pin."
And then like,
pins him, and he's like, I'm not the referee.
Yeah, I know.
My hands are tied.
And he kept on looking at Earl. Like, he'd be watching the match, then he'd see Angelina get pinned, and he'd, like, look at Earl and be like, "Earl, oh my god, how could this happen to you?" And then the second Angelina pinned...
He, like, jumped in the ring, he's like, 1, 2, 3.
And then that was the match. And I tweeted this. I got a lot of fanfare. I'm thinking Earl Hebner, Stifler, Bound for Glory. They have got, like, a really good feud, like, starting to go here. I could see this.
Yeah, no.
A lot of passion in these two. I think they just need to let it out in the ring on the big stage, hopefully in Chicago. Please bring it to Chicago.
Well, we're still waiting to see if Brian Hebner and Bully Ray.
Yeah.
Main event Bound
for
Glory.
Well, Bully Ray's a good guy.
We saw Brian Hebner and we said, "Hey, main event Bully Ray."
That was it. You need to watch our TNA live event review. You can just type it in on our YouTube page and you can watch that and you'll understand why we're talking about that. Little count out throwback for you. How many subscribers do we have? Like,
I don't want to say too high, but I'm thinking in the millions right now.
Yeah. I think we're catching up. I think we're catching up to Smosh.
Oh.
Are they? They're still.
Oh, they're probably catching up to us.
Oh no. Oh yeah. PewDiePie, we're coming for you. All right. But this is a pretty decent match. It was a decent match. Could have been better, but yeah. Next up was Bully Ray versus EC3 in a Texas Death Match. Crowd was really hot for this match, as they are with every Bully Ray match. Before we get to the finish. It was a pretty long match. It was like 17 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
It didn't seem that long.
On.
The thing is that like, okay, Corey didn't really like this match.
No.
But I don't think it was an awful match. I think we can agree it was not awful. It wasn't.
No,
it was
awful.
okay. It was okay.
It was a letdown. I was expecting, Bully Ray's this promo blood and all that stuff, and Lucas obviously gets very irritated with me, but I want to see the blood. I want to see that because WWE is a PG, non-blood wrestling promotion. I want to see that. This is the alternative. Mm-hmm. And that's what everyone says TNA should be, and they're not. They're not being that. I wanted to see that brutality. Well, and I felt like they greatly disappointed me, especially since the last Texas Death Match was with James Storm and Gunner, and they blew it out the house.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a Texas Death Match, or was that a Texas Death Match? I think that was just a hardcore match. Oh, I Quit match. It was an I Quit match.
Oh, I Quit match.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But whatever, great match.
So, like, this match, I mean, it had some pretty cool moments, like, there was just some cool, like, little hardcore stuff. The crowd was into it. They had glass. And I know it didn't really look like EC3 went into it. And it didn't look like he really hit it. But just the fact that he, like, went on it, like, the crowd just went crazy. It did, I mean...
Oh, yeah, no, they went crazy. I didn't. I mean, it didn't look like there's no cuts. It didn't look like he...
But so that could have just been a matter of how he landed. I mean, he probably didn't want to, like, really cut himself up. Because, I mean, that could be bad, if you really just, like, cut yourself with that.
No, you're right.
But that was
crowd
pretty cool.
Went crazy.
One thing that was, like, Bully Ray was setting up tables like crazy. He had, like, 2 tables set up on the outside, 1 table set at the corner, which he never put anyone through, which is kind of
I was thinking of Spud. Spud came out at one point.
And it was pretty funny.
Got him.
He put him on the
kendo stick.
Kendo stick. It was, like waving him way up high in the air, like, on his, like... Spud was on his crotch. So it was, like, it was hurting him there, and he's like, oh.
And I thought you would have thrown him in the table after that, but he just kind of threw him outside the ring.
He also did the thing where he did in like all of his matches when he was with Ace and Ace. He cut up the ring, and I was like, "Wow, they have 2 more matches, and they're doing this."
Yeah, obviously not very considerate for everybody else.
Yeah, but they put it together later on, so good for them. It'd be funny if they
just
had it. It'd be funny if they just had it there. But the finish came with like. He was gonna go jump off the top rope onto the outside through the 2 tables onto EC3. Bully Ray was,
and then Dixie came out,
and she was like, "Hey, you can't do that." And he's like, "I'm gonna get you, female dog," which I thought was kind of like funny, but was kind of like, I don't know if I.
Wow, is that what we're calling women?
Yeah, I mean, come on. But then she was running around the ring, and then she kind of like bumped into EC3, and it looked kind of weird.
He gave her like a big hug,
and she kind of fell over.
And but he fell on his back, and then turned her around, and she was like just knocked out.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh my god!" And then Boy I guess knocked him out, and then he picked up Dixie. Was gonna put her through the table.
He's gonna jump off the table.
Yeah, jump off the table and put her through it. Pretty much.
EC3 came back, hit him with the kendo stick,
and then
right before he fell through the tables,
Spud pulled Dixie off, and Bully Ray went through the 2 tables, and they counted 10, and that was the match. The crowd was chanting BS. it was a pretty cruddy finish.
I like the finish. I had no
it was
issues
cool.
with the finish. I had issues with the match. I think it was not a great match. I thought it was kind of boring. Nothing really great happened. Didn't feel as hardcore as energetic as I really wanted it to be. I really want to see more EC3. I feel like he doesn't have as much. I know, I don't.
I don't think EC3
I had no problem
has
with
been,
the finish.
I don't think EC3 has been booked horribly as much as you think.
I wanted him to be world champion. I wanted Dixie to take this to be world champion. I know it's too soon.
Corey, it's way too soon.
Sheamus was world champion like 3 months.
But that's like it's like, okay, TNA you have to give it time because like you have to give it time. He will be a world champion, and getting one over Boy Ray is huge. So he's gonna get to that point. He's getting more serious too. So what if he's a little funny? So what if he's a little comedic?
No, I don't have any problem with him being funny. Well, what I have a problem with, it feels like he always needs help, or he can never do it himself, or something always happens.
But that's what makes a true heel, though. That helps his character.
Yeah.
That's Bobby Roode would always cheat to him, but he's a great heel, and he's really intimidating. You know what I mean? It's true. And we don't know, like, I don't think TNA knows exactly how to run a wrestling company, but I don't think we know either. Like, we think we do, but like with that, well, no, I think we do, but you know what? Never mind. Just forget what I said. But yeah, this is an okay match. This could have been probably I don't know if I'd say the worst match of the night, but probably biggest disappointment. Next up was James Storm versus Mr. Anderson. At this point,
man,
okay,
that promo video.
I know they didn't have a promo video for EC3 and Boy Ray, which has been building up since like lockdown. Well, they have a promo video for freaking James Storm versus Mr. Anderson, which brought me back to the days of 2005 with great feuds like Raven and Jeff Hardy when Raven goes up to Jeff Hardy. He's like, hey, listen, we should be a tag team. Like, you have your fans, I have my fans. And then Jeff Hardy's like, yo, Raven, I really respect you, but I think we should keep that separate. Raven's like, all right, cool, man. And then Jeff Hardy's doing an interview later on, and Raven just hits him with a steel chair, and he walks away, and AJ's like, oh my god, Jeff. And then Jeff Hardy's like, all right, steel cage match, lockdown, tables.
Let's not forget, though, that was the month of storylines. When AJ Styles and Abyss got in their feud, when Abyss was trying to scare these girls on a pickup truck, AJ Styles comes by and says, hey, you can scare them, but you can't scare me.
And then they start fighting.
Number one contender match. Main event at Lockdown.
You know what the funny thing was? That match was freaking awesome. And same with the Jeff Hardy and Raven match. Both great matches.
Wow. TNA was not too good at storylines.
But the matches. Whew. But this match, I mean, there was only like 40 minutes left
that
of the
match
pay-per-view.
was actually like AJ Styles one of his favorite matches.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it. I watched Jericho. Well, I didn't watch. I listened to
Why are you pointing to the wall?
Because over there.
We're sitting on the couch, and we had the computer to the little bit to the left of us. Let's say 11 o'clock to where we're handing, and Corey points all the way off to like 7 o'clock. He's like, well, over there. And I'm like, Corey, that's just a wall. Anyway, James Storm versus Mr. Anderson, they only had 30, 40 minutes left of the pay-per-view. I'm like, wow, but I hope they don't rush these matches. This match was pretty short, but it was a really fun match.
No, it was. That's what it was.
The great part was that James Storm came out, he was mocking the Cowboys who were there in attendance, and a couple other wrestlers brought them up. But this match really brought him in.
Then he went out to get the beer.
Let's explain it. So to start off with, they're fighting, they have a decent match, some pretty cool stuff. And then
he went out to get the beer.
Yeah, he went out to get the beer, and he spanned the face of the Cowboys, and the Cowboys just ran at him, and they knocked down the guardrail,
and you're like,
and it was crazy. Snap. And then he was inside the ring, and he was fighting with Anderson a little bit more, and the guards were still trying to keep the players back, and then one of them got free, and they went into the ring and got James Storm or distracted him. And then Anderson hit him with a mic check, and he won. Anderson beat James Storm, and then he celebrated with them. And the guardrails were crazy. One time, Austin Aries got flung into the guardrail by Kenny King, and he landed on a woman. The guardrail just crashed on her. So the guardrails were pretty flimsy today, and it was pretty funny because afterwards, Austin Aries went up to her and gave her a handshake. He's like, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" You could see it. He's like,
"I'm gonna get you a free T-shirt."
Yeah, I'm gonna get you a free T-shirt. I'm gonna make sure talk to my friends. They're not huge on me apparently, according to internet reports, but I'll see what I can do. But this match was really fun. They obviously did it. They didn't have too much time. I wonder if they knew all along they were going to get the Cowboys there. I do wonder.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like this match was pretty much built around that, which is fine, because it was just a fun little match. The rivalry can continue. And it brought a moment that I guarantee TNA will get some publicity for. I guarantee it. Because it was a pretty cool moment. The crowd was really excited for it. Crowd, like we said, always alive during this pay-per-view.
That's what helps. That's what's really going to help.
And this was a fun match. It was really fun. I can't really complain. It was just a filler in between the Texas Death Match and the main event, so I had nothing wrong with that. It was good. Very fun. Then finally, we had the main event. Eric Young versus MVP was what it was supposed to be, but then it got switched to the winner
Eric Young versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Aries.
because Bobby Lashley won the Samoa Joe match and Austin Aries won the Kenny King match.
Now, I was pretty bummed out about that. I don't think MVP and Eric Young would have had that great a match. I don't think MVP. Oh, after seeing him a few times in TNA, I don't think he's that good of a wrestler.
I think they could have had a good match.
But I was very invested in the storyline the story they were telling.
Yeah.
And I think, well, obviously Lucas is going to agree with me on this match. This match blew my mind.
Well, let me start off by saying something. With Eric Young and MVP, one thing I just want to get off my chest is that a lot of people compare it to Eric Young and the Authority. Daniel Bryan and the Authority. But the one thing I noticed is that the key difference is that the Authority just doesn't want Daniel Bryan to have the title just because they don't like the way he looks. The thing with Eric Young and MVP is that MVP wants the title because he's power hungry. So it's different.
Exactly. Oh,
so,
yeah.
I just wanted to point that out. But, I didn't like how it was going to be a steel cage match. I'm like, we just had Lockdown, which had every match inside a steel cage, which, it's fine. I'm not a huge fan of every match inside the steel cage, but I'll take it in to make the pay-per-view special. But, I was like, come on, we just had that. I just want a regular singles match. But then, they were going to keep the triple threat match in the steel cage, and Corey and I were like, it'll still be good, but, I wish it was just a triple threat. We watched the match. It wasn't too long of a match. I think it was maybe 15 minutes. I don't have it the time, but it was a great match. It was phenomenal. So good. I was excited.
Aries, man, sold. It got thrown in the cage twice at least. Sold it. So he bounced in the cage, bounced on the ropes, and bounced in between. It just
awesome match.
Incredible.
Really good match. But I think that was. This probably, you know what? I think this was, we could be all said that, maybe Eric Young and MVP would have had a great match, but this is a great alternative.
Oh my god, amazing.
So good.
I wasn't a big fan of Bobby Lashley during his WWE run. I just never
I never
cared
was
for
either.
him. And even TNA now, when he first came back and Lockdown.
When he came back, I was like, whoa. I was caught off guard, but I wasn't like, oh yeah, awesome.
I was like, yeah, sweet. Cool. Bobby Lashley. I was kind of bummed. Even now, when he was coming back on MB, I'm like, I don't know. He's just not that great. But during this match, I was like, man, I really wouldn't have a problem if he became World Heavyweight Champion here. Obviously, we prefer Austin Aries.
Yeah, we were really
but I really would have liked, I wouldn't have minded Bobby Lashley becoming World Heavyweight Champion.
The reason this match was so good was that, they didn't overuse the cage, but they used it enough. So it didn't feel like the match just had the steel cage around it, just to have the steel cage around it. It felt like Eric Young did a diving elbow off the top rope. The way Eric Young won the match by doing a pile driver to Austin Aries, but the way Bobby Lashley got himself out of the match was that it was only pinfall or submission, the only way to win the title.
Yes.
So escape the cage didn't matter. So Bobby Lashley ran to go spear Eric Young, and I called this. Remember, I called this move. He went to spear Eric Young, and Eric Young moved out of the way, and he went through the door and fell to the ground. Pretty nasty, but it was. Oh, it was so crazy. There were a lot of great spots. Then Austin Aries and Eric Young just had a great wrestling match for the last 5 minutes.
You said, though, even they used the cage sparingly and well. When Austin Aries went for the brainbuster, Eric Young was able to use the cage to bounce himself back to then switch it to a pile driver.
Which is an awesome reversal. You're talking about those reversals, man, No, this match was, so good. There's so many near falls. I thought, Aries, when he hit the brainbuster, I'm like, oh, he has it. He kicked out, and then when Eric Young hit the elbow, the second elbow on Aries, I'm like, oh, Eric Young won, then Aries kicked out. So everyone looked really good in this match.
I'm just curious to see what they're going to do next.
I don't know.
'Cause I don't know how long MVP is going to be out. They've obviously got Destination X coming up next.
Yeah.
So we got to see if...
But overall...
Destination is going to do this thing.
Great match. Great pay-per-view. Great crowd. I think the future is going to be bright for TNA.
This is the only thing I have gripe with this pay-per-view.
Oh, and I will agree with this
Now,
I'm pretty sure
matches were good. Some matches were really good. Crowd was amazing. It looked good. They sounded great. But the only issue is it didn't feel great.
No.
It doesn't feel... TNA...
Can I say the one thing, though? Can I just add on to this real quick before you go on all out? It felt good because the crowd was so big, and the wrestlers gave it all, and the matches were good, so that obviously gave a big show feel, but what wasn't included?
So, TNA's got 4 pay-per-views a year, 4 events a year. Well, and they
also
need to make it feel, especially they need to make it seem like, this is something new. Obviously, when TNA does the TV pay-per-views, they use the Impact stage. Well, for Slammiversary, Lockdown, Bound for Glory, they use the Impact stage.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like... It feels like I'm just ordering a special episode of Impact.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I paying this extra money? There's no pyro. There was nothing that really
I know, that
got
really
it up.
bothers me, too. I
And,
think there
you
should
know,
be pyro.
I remember Slammiversary when we ordered the last time on Father's Day, the stage was stupid, but it was different.
Yeah.
It had, like, the steel pipes or whatever. It had the pyro. It had the band playing in the beginning. They destroyed the guitar. Remember that? You know, it felt different. It was something different. And that's what's so great. You know, WrestleMania, they have these grand stages and all that stuff. And obviously, TNA doesn't have that money to build a $30 million stage.
Nor were they in an arena to truly
Exactly.
take a hold of that.
But it would have just been cool to have something different. To be, this is Slammiversary.
Yeah. Maybe even like a couple more screens, or maybe some more lights, or just something. Maybe even some fireworks. I think just at the beginning would have been great, because I haven't remembered them opening a show with fireworks in who knows how long.
And TNA used to be huge on fireworks and huge on all smoke and all that stuff. And they just stopped because of the budget. They needed.
I mean, they had a couple. I think they had like some smoke. Like that was. I remember when the Wolves came out, they had like the smoke.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, that's nothing. But I will say one thing: TNA made a great decision having this on Father's Day. Because I remember we had a lot of time watching it with our dad back in 2007 when we ordered it, and we had a lot of fun watching with him today. It was great. And you know, despite all that's said bad about TNA, everybody complaining about it, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you watch the pay-per-view and say it was awful, it was a disgrace, everything was bad about it, you're lying. This was a great pay-per-view.
It was a great pay-per-view.
I mean, I can be honest, TNA has been like not that great the past month. I mean, I'll be honest, I was interested more in the storylines than some people were, but I'll be honest, it wasn't that great. The crowds were
matches
bad.
weren't that great.
The crowd was awful.
Storylines weren't as good going into this as it was with Sacrifice or Lockdown.
But TNA, I think, you know, the roster realized that, okay, we need to start proving ourselves. And, you know, if we want to get all that momentum going. And, you know what, I know a lot of people say that, you know, TNA hits the reset button, but I don't feel like they truly hit the reset button here, because it's not like they switched all the titles. But I think they started to step up their game a little bit, which is very exciting.
Exactly.
Overall, what would you give this pay-per-view? Because we've been going on for a while, which isn't bad. I mean, it's just because we had a lot to say about this.
I'd definitely give it...
I'd say an A-.
I'd say B+, A-.
Yeah, that's
somewhere around there. Maybe
that's what I was thinking.
89.5%.
I'm thinking like a...
where it's enough where you can go, I'll round it to an A-.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll give like a 90%. I know that's gonna be kind of, you know, just like it's right there. A-, B+. I'm gonna go a little bit to A-. I was really into the pay-per-view. I was like every match. There was not like even the death match wasn't awful. So there was no match that was truly like God, like oh, what was that?
No, well, it was just disappointing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but overall, awesome pay-per-view. I'm super happy, and you know what, I know it seems like we favor TNA here at the count out. But it's not like we are TNA fanboys. It's just that I feel like TNA is better than WWE when it comes to...
Well, this is the thing, though, also. We're not a news site. We're not like IGN, because this is a perfect example, I feel like, that writes articles and obviously favors one company over another, or favors Call of Duty over this. We're an opinion. We're bringing our opinion on things that happen, our opinion on... the shows, our opinion on something that happens with the news. You know, and these are our opinions.
And one thing I want to say is that, like, if WWE has something great, I'll be like, that was awesome. Because I remember some of our reviews, I'll be like, WWE really brought their game in this match, or really brought their game in this moment. I'll bring it honest. But with WWE, I mean, I feel like people let them get away with more stuff. And I feel like WWE is really not doing too well right now. Whereas TNA, I feel like they're on, like, I wouldn't say they're on fire, but, like, I feel like with the pay-per-views, they bring more. I feel like the matches are better, the match quality is better, and I just enjoy it more. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I just want to say that because, like, obviously I noticed when we were reviewing the WWE and TNA pay-per-views, we're giving the TNA pay-per-views higher grade, and I don't want people to think we're just giving it because we feel bad for TNA, we have, like, a preference for TNA, which I do have a preference for TNA, but not, like, an unfair preference. It's because I truly enjoy it more.
Did somebody comment that, like...
No, it's just something I noticed. And I just wanted to make sure. Because I noticed that I'm like, you know what, I feel like, you know, we've been pretty harsh in WWE, and TNA we've kind of been like, oh yeah, you know. But I just want to say that's not something that we're just trying to, like, gut at WWE and go for the underdog. I mean, I truly, and I think the same for Corey is, I just truly enjoy TNA more.
No, yeah.
I think, yeah.
At times.
But we'll have to see. I mean, now they're going to be recording from Pennsylvania, then New York. Hopefully they'll come to Chicago for Bound for Glory. We'll have some live footage there. If we go there, definitely will. But, really great show. A- show. Really good. Leave a comment down below. Tweet at us at the count out. And just let us know what you think.
Follow us. Seems like everyone's been doing that tonight.
Yeah, no, we've gotten like quite a few followers. So definitely thank you everyone for following us. But just be sure to... Yeah, it's a long video. But thank you everybody for just sticking with us, and we hope you really enjoyed Slammiversary. I hope you enjoyed hear us talking about it. We'd love to hear your opinions, and just be sure to subscribe for more, all right? Thanks for watching, guys.
Rock and roll.
Bye.